Cosplay is for everyone.
Hi, I'm Chi,
I'm Carrie.
and we're part of ECO Cosplay. I've been a gamer since games were invented, definitely the early 80s with the NES and the Sega Master System, all the old games. Just any kind of video game, love them all. I got into cosplay almost 10 years ago. My sister introduced me to it. I've always really liked dressing up as things, and then when you realize that you can be anything that you want to be, if you can just make the costume or buy it, but it's freeing, so it's a fun hobby. Love to create things and wear them places.
I'm Chi's younger sister. I literally have been playing since my existence, since it was before my time, and so yes, we were playing video games all my life. The first time I got into cosplay was in 96 or 97. We did our first photo shoot, and that was my first taste of costumes. And after that, I really could never get over it. So about 2005, I went to college, and I was introduced to Anime Week in Atlanta. And then I came out as a cosplayer and pulled everyone around me in it, and that's actually how ECO Cosplay started. And so I've also been doing it for roughly 10-ish years, a little bit more, but officially maybe 10 years or so. We do a lot of volunteer work with it, and you can actually make a difference in your community. Your hobby can actually do something good. So we love going to conventions and stuff.
Atlanta is made up of such a diverse set of people. I mean, every single nationality, race, color, creed, religion, orientation of all kinds. That Atlanta's just perfect for this kind of stuff. I mean, whether you do traditional, old-style Japanese anime type cosplay or American cartoon cosplay, the sci-fi people, and we've got Dragon Con that happens here, some of the largest cons in the country. For all different reasons,
you can find some sort of convention or gathering at least once a month for anything, and that again it's exclusive, but then it's inclusive. So there are things that are just a Doctor Who meetup, but obviously anyone else can go there too. A whole bunch of comic book conventions. Atlanta, like that, it is so very diverse, and it's so active, and you can really find a lot of the local celebrities who are out there who are willing to kind of talk about their art, so that everyone around can kind of grow within the community. So I think it's a very active Atlanta.
Different ages. There are a lot of colleges, so there's a lot of younger kids, but then there's also the people who blazed the trail for video games and anime, and helped make it such a big industry here. You gotta give it to us old folks for being the first into it, and we all get along and love to hang out with each other.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a dream come true. I mean, cosplayers, one of the things that we run into is, where do you go to show your cosplay?
Yeah.
You can show it to your friends, you can get together in small groups, like Caroline was saying, almost every month there's, some sort of gathering that you may or may not be able to go to, but you can't really wear it in public. There are even, in some states, I'm not sure if Georgia's one, you can't even wear wigs or tails or ears or, even Lolita dresses and things. You can't wear them to the mall to hang out and just be in your costume, be that character for a while. And since a big part of cosplay is role playing and pretending to be the character and then interacting with other people who are the character, just having a place where you can go in costume and hang out without any restrictions. I'm sure there'll be some security.
Well, and like that, not only, like that if you had like a skit idea or if you actually wanted to meet and discuss it and stuff, but it's so important for like that for a community aspect, that you want to know that people understand you, and you want to find like-minded people, and to have a place where you can gather and it is that easy, that you walk in the door and you are accepted. That is so important, especially not only for for the older generation who feel like, well, maybe I'm not accepted anymore because I am getting up there, and are you allowed to cosplay, which totally you are, but then also for the the young teenagers and stuff, that they're kind of morphing into the adult they want to be, and it's nice to know that you're accepted, especially with all the bullying out there, the cyberbullying, in the schools and everything like that, to know that no matter who you are, you're loved, and to have that to be able to go to a place that it's safe for you, you know, and
and it's similar in the same thing. You've got the middle school and the teenage and the high schoolers who are coming up through being quirky, where that's not always appreciated. But because Atlanta's so diverse, they can come here, you know, if they can go someplace to hang out with other people in a safe environment who've gotten through it.
Right,
they graduated high school, they're in college and art schools now, or, you know, like me, I'm a professional. My job has nothing to do with cosplay and my hobby thing, you know, but see that you can have that dual life, and it does get better, and you can get through this. And like Carrie's saying, you can, a safe place to hang out, be yourself, collaborate,
yes,
you know, learn.
creatively, learn. That also is so essential, because like that, even if you, right now the closest thing you have is to go to Joann's, and they teach you how to make a pillow, and that's not exactly, you know, how do you make, you know,
how do I make
cloud
resin
sword?
armor?
Yeah, exactly, resin. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like that right now, and it's kind of blowing up on the internet, because, you know, when we started, it wasn't really there. It was starting to be on the, you know, they're kind of like online forums and stuff. Yeah. So now you can have the YouTube, but a lot of people don't learn that way. A lot of people, you need it hands-on, and to have that regularly, and also input. You know, if you have the membership, maybe you can actually go and say, hey, I want to learn about this, and if enough people sign up, you find someone to teach it. I mean, I think that's a fantastic idea, and it's original. I don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if I can help it, you know, even if it's just, you know,
what not to do. I could teach that. Learn from my mistakes.
Or, you know, even if it's something that, you know, I could see the possibility where even if none of us in the group really know how to do this one thing, but this guy knows how to make armor using resin and EVA foam, and we know how to make you know, like the suits with the heads and things, and we've worked with epoxy, that kind of stuff. And I can't even imagine what we might be trying to do, but come together as a group to teach each other, you know, so yeah, that'd be great to have as a hands-on resource.
It's a fantastic idea, because it's the inspiration to see this person, because it's one thing, you know, like when you watch like Face Off and stuff, and you see these people and you're like, well, how did they get into that, you know? But it's another thing to actually have someone there and say, I started out just like you, even if they started out knowing how to sew, they still started out like you. So, you know, and to have that, maybe not 1-on-1, but the 1-on-15 or however big the class is, you know. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome.
And, you know, I'm an oldie, so I'm just realizing now how the phenomenon of internet famous people, you know, you see that with the different video game players on YouTube, and so cosplayers are in the same way. So kids today, you know, these are their inspirations. You know, they can have their famous movie actor people, but then they can have their more internet type famous, you know, and cosplayers, they do go to events and you see them in real life, but a lot of their exposure comes through what you can see on the internet of them, the pictures that they post and the tutorials that they share. And so being able to inspire, even if somebody's not exactly sure who this person is, because they are internet famous, you can find out really fast, and then, you know, it just spark more people who maybe they don't even know what cosplay is, but once they see the pictures, they're like, oh, who's this, you know, Riddle person? And they see the awesome costumes that she can make, they might be drawn into it, and it just helps the fandom grow.
Again, I think that's fantastic, and I don't think there's a venue for that,
Yeah.
especially in Georgia. I know that there are a lot of conventions that do have skits and stuff, but a lot of the local conventions in Georgia don't really allow for skits. So to be able to express yourself in that way, I think is really fantastic. And like that, there is no place for it unless you go in the park and hope no one yells at you for being dressed up in public. Yeah. So again, to have that venue that you can say, hey, come watch my skit.
And it's just another way to blend, you know, cosplayers in general, we're a theatrical group. So a lot of cosplayers, you know, they are in drama and theater, or they're writers, or they're, you know, they make their own music. Obviously we make our own costumes a lot of the time. So being able to tie that all in together where you can come as a group and write, produce, direct, stage, everything your own. I mean, yeah, there's nothing like that, and I think it would be a benefit even just to the community. The different groups and friends you can make doing that kind of thing, and support groups and trains. Even local theaters, you can audition to be in the play, but there are only a limited number of lead roles, and they're only going to be able to put on a certain number of plays. But with these micro plays, that can be about anything, because you're making up your own script, you're making your own costumes, you can bring in your favorite fandoms, and you can mix the characters in. Just...
Yeah, and write for even, if you have a group of people that say, hey, let's put something on, then write for the characters that you have there,
Yeah, I can see it, doing like kabuki version, like people just mixing it up, and doing, because you don't have anybody, it's an open stage, I would hope, that it would be an open stage, within reason, that you can do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone likes to be represented. Everyone likes to have a team that they root for. And yeah, and I don't care what you're watching, for any kind of like reality TV, if you hear that someone's from your area, you automatically root for them until they turn out to be like a jerk or something, but
yeah, you still root for them.
Yeah, so I definitely think having that, quote unquote team spirit, that, that sense of community that you can try out and actually, and like that, I mean, if you actually had a team, then you're sponsoring them, so the people who might have the skill but don't have the money can try out and go and get to live their dreams, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not currently into League gaming, and I don't know all that techie stuff, but in general I find gaming interesting, and I like to watch other people play. Spend a lot of time watching other people play and playing myself. You never know what you could get into, and if you're in a venue because you're interested in either just renting the systems, playing the games there, or you're just there for the cosplay, but then you hear about like, oh, what's this, the gaming tournaments and things like that, it just opens it up. That the cosplay, video games, anime, that it all goes in together. We're all pretty much all the same people. But it could also draw in the people who are just gamers and never have thought about cosplaying. You've got everything right there, so speaking as predominantly a cosplayer, but, occupying the same space as gamers, I think it's great, like she was saying, it gives you somebody else to root for, to back.
Yeah.
Because we don't do sports.
No sports ball.
I'd like that too, to watch someone with the skill that, I play Smash, but I couldn't compete. But then to watch other people, you might actually get to learn, and might be its own tutorial like that.
Well, that's actually one of the, that was going into my next question of what do you think of bringing in the people who are the pros and having them kind of play a weekend with them, get to learn from them, learn from the pro gamers, like on the MLG circuit. It wouldn't necessarily have to be them, but just like the local people from like Final Round and stuff like that you would never get to meet.
Right, yeah.
And you would actually get to play with them here.
I think that's fantastic. I think anything that like that has someone who is skilled in that, I think it's awesome to kind of bring them in and let people talk to them, because like that, even if that's not your thing, I think still even saying, hey, I met that person, and kind of getting involved in that way. But yeah, no, to then also hear, how did you get in? How did you build up your the talent and everything, and then like that, what was the experience like to go and do that kind of thing?
We all, I think it's just human nature. You want to watch someone who's really, that's why football, yes, you could go out and play football on your own, but you're never going to be able to throw like that guy who throws footballs really well. We as humans like to watch other humans who have mad skills, so it might be hard to understand why you as a gamer might want to watch someone else play a video game, because you could play it. There's techniques. You might not even realize that there's a technique, but there's, and I've seen some people who know how to pull off some, amazing moves in games, and just the dexterity of their fingers, the nimbleness of their brains to figure it out. It's amazing to watch. So finding and like you said, being able to meet the people who do these things, they're, again, the internet famous or the low-key famous, they're never going to hold a book signing for these guys at the, Barnes & Noble. Having a place where they will show up, it will definitely bring a a certain crowd who wants this. Way back when, voice actors were overlooked constantly because they're not the faces in the movies, they're the voices behind the shows. But there was such a call for those who find them, amazing and love their talent and skill. So now voice actors are getting the legitimate respect and admiration that they've always deserved. The same could happen with gaming, and again, the cosplayer, famous people, So being able to meet them, yeah. Might not know exactly who they are, but you will after you get to meet them.
Yeah. Cosplay to me is very hard to define. It's freedom, it's acceptance, it's creativity. To me, cosplay is a performance art. I find myself wanting to be an actress, and so to first of all take materials and turn them into something. There's nothing wrong with buying your costume, but to actually make it, there's just, you put yourself into it, you put your own creativity into it, and you grow, and there's so much patience that has to come that I have a problem with patience, but it definitely has taught me, and all the different kind of mediums and stuff like that. So even on that's just such a learning aspect. But then to open yourself up to that creativity, and then once you have it, to put it on. For me, while I make the costume, I always kind of walk through what this character is, what motivates them, what's their objective, and all that kind of stuff, so that when I'm actually wearing it, you go through that process, and again, because I feel like it's a performance art, you become that character because that's what you're wearing. And to go out there and have adults and children alike come up to you, and a few of the costumes that we've done actually tell them, you're my childhood, you're my hero, you're the reason I stayed in school. It's unbelievable to know that me wearing this brought something out in someone else. And so it's very human, and it just, you connect with other people. It's an internal thing, making it and bringing this character that you love or you can relate to life. But then also it is such a community hobby, because what's the good of trying so hard to make something if it's not going to make someone else smile, and obviously you have to ultimately do it for yourself, and I guess that's what cosplay is. It's just a way, it's an outlet for me. So you can live your daily life and have something like this that you can feel free to express yourself in whatever kind of context you want. But it's definitely, it helps you kind of connect that you otherwise might not have been able to, because sometimes people, are really shy. I'm kind of a mixture of shy and outgoing, but when I'm in a costume, it gives you that reason to talk to someone that you might not have actually have spoken with. And I've made a lot of friends and, online acquaintances and stuff that I wouldn't have known without cosplay. And it's really taught me, even though being all these different characters, it's taught me more about who I am, and cosplay is life.
Alrighty.
I think she stopped for breath that entire time.
That's my specialty.
Good luck cutting that one.
No, you can't.
And then, first and foremost, cosplay to me is a creative outlet. It lets me use a part of my brain and my creativity that other parts of my life don't let me do. My day-to-day job has nothing to do with cosplay, nothing to do with using my hands, nothing to do with really problem solving. So when you take on a new project, depending on the character that you're trying to make, you have to try to figure out how to take usually a 2D drawing, with shapes that may not even really supposed to exist in this world, or clothing that just doesn't make sense. And you have to realize that, so you become everything. You're a sculptor, you're a seamstress, you're an upholsterer, you're a leather maker, you're a metal work, all the different materials that you need to make something come alive. And you do learn a lot about yourself as you're doing this. You learn how to think outside the box, quite literally. You'll use things to make other things, they really have no purpose, or they don't really go together, or you wouldn't think of them, like using a ball to make something else. You don't look at things, especially trash or pieces of cardboard or scraps of metal. You won't look at them the same sense, because you're a recycler too a lot of times. But cosplay also is about the community. It's about being in and amongst people who think like you, who love the same things that you do, love them so much that they want to see them be real in this world. They want to, these the cartoon characters, the anime characters, the game characters, they want them to be tangible. They want them to be real, to exist. You spend so many hours watching a movie or a series or playing a game that you really do care for these people, these characters and their stories, and you want to see them real. You want to hug them. So when you meet somebody else who loves these characters just as much as you do and put in all this sweat, blood, and tears and money into making these, and learning the skills to make these things, it's just amazing. And speaking as someone who was around well before internet, I've seen both sides where you couldn't get together with people who are like you unless you just so happen to be lucky enough to go to school with and meet, schools are pretty large, meet someone just like you. There weren't really gathering places for these things. There was no internet where you could look up tutorials on how to make something. There was no Facebook or Pinterest or YouTube, so unless you happened to stumble in, and then you had to be really careful where you're stumbling. I've been on both sides where it can be kind of hard to find people who are just like you and who like the things that you like. And now the internet has made it easier for us to find each other. But there's still that need to be with other humans who do what you do and like what you like, and have that physical connection. That sounds okay. Anyway,
being in the same room as other people.
There you go. Actual living, breathing people. So cosplay and the conventions, because conventions are basically where you go to cosplay, unless there's someplace magical where you could do it outside of conventions every week. Cosplay is being able to be with other people and knowing that you're accepted for no matter what crazy costume you're wearing, who you identify as. Again, all types of people are accepted in cosplay. So cosplay is acceptance. Cosplay is being who you actually are, and you can sometimes be multiple people. So cosplay lets you be multiple people.
Cosplay is for everyone.
Cosplay is for everyone.
Would you guys, I guess, patron a place like this?
I would even work at a place like this.
Only if they had a DDR machine that I could reserve right in the window.
Definitely, yeah. Especially with the theater part, the cosplay part, because I do love video games. So it all speaks to me, but to have that group where, or like that, your group of friends can go and be like, hey, let's meet up here, and it's okay. And
it can be intimidating, speaking as a female gamer and an older gamer and other things that categories I fall into. It can be kind of intimidating to walk into your usual gaming, hub where they have like LAN parties and stuff like that. If you don't know about the latest computer, or you're not up on the latest console, or it can be kind of intimidating, but the mixture of gaming and cosplay, it gets you're in. You could just be there for the cosplay event that's going on, but you can kind of, what's the game guy over there doing, and watch, and then vice versa. If you're into gaming but you feel kind of shy about like, I'm dressing up, that's kind of strange, you can be there for your gaming. And so I think it's a great way to open it up to so many other people, because you can just walk in, be yourself, a whole bunch of crazy people having a Halloween party every day of the week, so no, I'd be there as much as I possibly could. I think it's an excellent thing, and it's a long time coming.
So, like that with the community, you can keep it growing, because there are a lot of people who want to get into making graphic novels, and to even have other people branch out and be like, well, this is my hobby, to kind of feel comfortable bringing it, because there are cosplayers and there are gamers and stuff. They'll be like, hey, how about let's
tabletop
learn.
gaming.
Yeah, tabletop gaming. Let's learn about how to draw, how to write, how to anything to come in there. So if you open it up that this is a community that is accepting, then you can bring anything in there.
And a lot of conventions, anime and sci-fi and otherwise, they end up being that conglomerate, because there are so many crossover people who, so yeah, I totally could see that drawing and everything. It could just be a constant convention.
Everything.
New ideas.
For your time, and I appreciate appreciate you being on camera.
Thank you for thinking we're worthy.
Yes.
Bye.